the support of Bob Castellini and the Reds, the Board of Directors unanimously voted on this decision. And we are pleased to make this long-awaited announcement that the newest member of the Reds Hall of Fame is Cincinnati's own Peter Edward Rose. In keeping with the Hall of Fame's tradition of properly celebrating the newest inductees, we'll invite all of the Hall of Famers to return to Cincinnati for induction activities June 24th through the 26th. In addition, to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Big Red Machine's 1976 World Championship season, we'll be inviting members of that club back to take part in those festivities as well, which will include an on-field reunion of the 76 club on Friday, pregame induction ceremonies on Saturday, and the induction gala on Sunday, where Pete Rose will receive his red jacket. We look forward to adding another chapter to the great history of the Cincinnati Reds with what is sure to be an unforgettable induction weekend as we celebrate the newest Hall of Fame class, a class of one, Pete Rose. Marty.
Thank you, Rick. Next up, Reds President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Bob Castellini. Bob.
Thank you, Marty. And thank you to the media, city, and county officials for our front office and our guests for attending this historic announcement. And this is historic. This is one of the greatest days in the history of this franchise. Not a day has gone by since taking ownership of this franchise have we lost sight of Pete Rose. His hustle, his style of play, and passion for the game are simply unforgettable, not only to our fans in the stands, but to any player privileged to wear the same uniform as the Big Red Machine. Commissioner Manfred and Major League Baseball understand the importance of Pete Rose to our city and to our team, and we thank the Commissioner and MLB for their support of the Reds' induction of Pete Rose into our Hall of Fame. In addition to Pete joining other Reds legends in our Hall, I'm pleased to announce that we will officially retire number 14 on Sunday of the Hall of Fame weekend. This number is synonymous with Pete, and it is befitting that the number 14 be retired in tribute of Pete's significant contributions to the Cincinnati Reds and the game of baseball. Pete, this is a proud moment for your Reds family.
Thank you.
And for your hometown. It's our chance to thank you for pouring your heart into every game, from your days in Little League to the Major League. Unprepared aside, there was nobody in the history of this game that didn't inspire and make those around him in the same uniform better than they were before they got into that uniform or got next to him. He inspired everybody around him to be a great ball player. I'm inspired just to be up here and privileged to be up here. We look forward to welcoming you into our Reds Hall of Fame in this June and bestowing the number 14 onto you forever. Now, somebody's going to ask about a statue. So before you do, I'm going to tell you, yes, we're going to have a statue, okay? And when that's going to be, I can't tell you, but it's going to be in the near future.
Hurry.
We're not worried about his health. He's going to last a while. Marty.
Thanks. To give you some idea of what's going to go on during Hall of Fame induction weekend on Friday, June the 24th, the Reds play the San Diego Padres in the 7-10 game. There will be a pregame ceremony celebrating the 40th anniversary of the 1976 World Series champion Reds. Reds players and coaches will wear 1976 throwback uniforms, and all fans coming to the ballpark that night will receive a commemorative 1976 Reds team photo. The fireworks Friday will be presented by Cooper Tire. Saturday, it'll be a 4-10 game against the Padres. There will be a pregame Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by PNC Bank, and all fans that day receive a commemorative Pete Rose poster. And then to wrap up the weekend, of course, with a bang on Sunday, it'll be a 1:10 game against San Diego. Pre-game Pete Rose number 14 retirement ceremony. All fans will receive a commemorative Pete Rose print. Hall of Fame induction gala presented by Clark Schaefer Hackett at the Duke Energy Convention Center that will get underway at 6 o'clock that night. And if you need to, you can visit Reds.com/Pete for updates and additional details for the 2016 Reds Hall of Fame induction weekend. And without further ado, here's number 14.
Thank you, Marty, Mr. Castellini, all the people who work for the Reds, thank you. Rick, Chris, Tony, the guys at the Hall of Fame, thank you. You worked hard to get this done. Man, I just found out about June 23rd, 4th, and 25th. I was supposed to work for Fox that weekend. I guess they'll let me off then. This is an honor that you can't believe how you feel. Growing up here, always been a Reds fan. Always had the most respect for all the Reds players that I rooted for when I was a kid, and most all the guys in the Hall of Fame that are living today either played with me or against me, and a lot of them played for me. I wanted to be the first one from Cincinnati, but Larkin beat me to it. A great player from, of course, Muller High School, and he deserves to be in the Cooperstown as well as being in the Cincinnati. This is the best Hall of Fame in all of baseball, and I've been to many Hall of Fame at the cities that have their Hall of Fames, and our Hall of Fame downstairs is way beyond all the other Hall of Fames. Even in St. Louis, a great tradition for a city, they have a Hall of Fame, and they have a bowling Hall of Fame in the middle of the Hall of Fame. But we're strictly a baseball Hall of Fame downstairs, and the guys I mentioned that run it are working endless hours to try to make it better, better, better every year. And I do as much as I possibly can to help them grow. I think they'll tell you that if you ask them, as does a lot of the players. I know Johnny works with them a lot. Joe does. Doggy does. Davey does when he comes into town. And I know all the past guys continuously do good efforts for our Hall of Fame, because it's what you don't, when you're a player, you don't set out for thinking about a Hall of Fame. You set out about making the team. Then you set out coming back the next year. Then you get lucky and you start playing 10 years, and you worry about that 11th year. And I was thinking the other day what a garden spot I had in the lineup for the Big Red Machine, because I don't know if anybody else can say this, but I led off for the Big Red Machine, and the next three guys up all got statues outside the ballpark. I don't think anybody else ever been in that situation. Think about that. Not plaques, statues. That's the guys that come up after me. That's pretty damn good situation. No wonder I scored all those runs. And no wonder all those guys that went to the Hall of Fame. It was a team. We all worked together. You know, me and Joe got on base for Johnny and Tony. And George and Davey just brought up the rear with Caesar. And it wasn't hard to figure our lineup. We had 8 guys. We had other guys that were important on the bench, but the 8 guys are the ones everybody remembers. And it was a fun team to play on. We had a good attitude. We had a winning attitude. We were positive. And I tell the boss that all the time. We got to get that attitude back. I remember when I came back here as manager in '84. The Reds lost 100 games in '83, didn't they, Marty? And they were in last place when I came back in '84. We had to change the attitude, because if we changed the attitude on the field, we changed the attitude in the stands. And as a player, you can feel the attitude, positive or negative. You know, this is a positive city. This is a baseball city. This is a baseball capital of the world. You know, we played the first game here in 1896, or 1869, I guess it was. And we played the first night game in 1935. You know, we're the oldest franchise in all of baseball. So That's why it's so important for all of us to want the Reds to do well. You know, I go all over the country talking about the Reds. And regardless of what anybody thinks, my name's kind of synonymous with the Reds. And it's kind of synonymous with baseball. So I continuously, I don't want to say defend the Reds, because I don't need anybody to defend them, but I continuously try to sell the Reds. And I'm not even on the payroll. I should be. But I just will never stop talking positive about the Cincinnati Reds. It's not in my blood. You know, shit. I was born 4 miles from here, right up where Christ Hospital. I was 4 miles from here. That's I got a tattoo on my arm, the Cincinnati Reds tattoo. Maybe I shouldn't say that because Charlie Sheen's got one too. So I don't know how good that is. But does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me? I'm pretty excited, as you can see.
Let me tell you, if you have questions, raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you so you can direct it at either Pete or Bob or Rick or whoever.
This is for Bob. Bob, why now?
Why not? Pete was told that in the immediate future he probably is not going to be able to look in terms of Cooperstown, and we certainly wanted to make sure that we picked up that vacuum. Commissioner gave us permission to do that. We couldn't be more pleased that it is now, Trent. Now's the time.
You know, I also want to thank the commissioner for allowing the Reds to do this and giving me this opportunity. Regardless of what you may have read or what you may believe in, I got along with the commissioner. He was a great guy. He didn't rule the way I wanted him to rule, but that's life. But for him to go out of his way to let us do this, pat him on the back.
Rick, sounds like some bylaws were changed to make this happen, and the board of directors did. Can you explain that process and how that happened? And Pete, how did you feel when they told you that you were going to get in after making these bylaw changes?
Yes, the Hall of Fame Board of Directors takes a look at its rules every year, and there was a rule stipulation that you couldn't be on baseball's ineligible list in order to be considered. The board has discussed this for some time, as have the Reds. So certainly working in concert with Bob and knowing he's working directly with the commissioner's office, it really came full circle recently and allowed us to do that. So yes, the board made this change or the amendment to the bylaws that allowed us to, we removed that clause, and then that allowed for the decision to be made by the board to elect Pete to the Hall of Fame.
And Phil Castellini called me a week and a half ago or so and told me about this. That's how I found out. And I was elated. Huh?
Pete, Major League Baseball seems to think that it has reached some sort of closure with Manfred's decision. Have you also reached closure?
Well, I don't know, because you hear certain people say certain things about, as you know, baseball don't own Cooperstown. Cooperstown's owned by the Clark family. And if somehow they'd ever change the rule to get me on the list where you as a writer would have an opportunity to vote, I haven't given up on Cooperstown. I'm not the type that's going to give up on anything. But this is fine. I'm happy. You know, this is, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's the second best thing, because it's not. It's not. Maybe it would be if I wasn't from Cincinnati, but because I'm from Cincinnati, this is the first big thing.
This one's for Mr. Castellini. How different was the climate in dealing with Bud Selig as a commissioner in terms of something like this, as opposed to Rob Manfred? Was it ever even discussed with Commissioner Selig?
Absolutely. This was a very big topic and a very big challenge for both commissioners. And I will tell you that I felt that both tried very, very hard to treat the subject fairly and meet the challenge head on and not sweep it under the rug. No, they both were very, very into it. They had to be. It is a huge part of baseball. Pete Rose is maybe the biggest part of our franchise ever. And as the oldest franchise in baseball and this iconic franchise deserve the respect that both commissioners gave us. Thank you.
Don't tell Johnny Bench that, though, okay?
Any more questions?
This is an easy crowd, boy.
I guess this would be more for you, Bob, or Pete. Does this open the door for other events and participation on these parts of the Reds?
Well, Pete's not going to have to ask for permission to come to the ballpark anymore. And he's going to be part of various celebrations and just doesn't have to ask for permission to be part of the symbolic celebratory part of the Reds.
Well, you saw that at the All-Star game. The commissioner allowed me, to be on the field for the franchise four. We don't want you to think that I'm not allowed to come to the ballpark. I've always been allowed to come to the ballpark. I just have not been allowed to frequent the batting cage, which I'd like to do. Walk through the clubhouse, which I've never seen the clubhouse here. Never been in the clubhouse. And another thing I have to tell you I do, every time I come to the game, I buy diamond seats. There's no pass-throughs for me. When I watched my son play for the Reds, and I sat next to Marge, I had to buy those 4 seats. And I'd like to somehow, on the retirement, the number, can that come out of retirement if my grandson makes Reds? Because my son wore that number. You going to sign up for that?
You know, Pete, I got to tell you, we'll consider anything that you want us to consider.
Because I got a
We'll take things under consideration. But when I said you couldn't need permission to come to the ballpark, Pete was required to buy a ticket to come to the ballpark. I think you might see Pete up in the owner's box without a ticket from now on. If that's where he wants to be. That's what I meant by that.
He don't understand, but the reason I love to go to his box and watch the game is I sit with his lovely wife, who knows more about baseball and all of them combined. And we just sit there and talk about how we're going to make the team better and what we're going to do and this and that. And she's on top of it. I don't even sit inside, I sit outside, where her and I can just enjoy the air and talk about the Reds. And she can talk about the Reds. Good, bad, and indifferent. Yes.
You mentioned the number retiring.
Yeah.
Aside from the Hall of Fame, how do you feel about it formally being retired? It's been kind of out of circulation with the exception of your son.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when you come to the ballpark, which we all do, and you look out there and you see 5 out there, and you see 10 out there, and you see 18 out there, and you see Joe's number out there, and you see Tony's number out there, and it's just part of the club, and it's really one of the biggest honors to have your number retired. You got to be a pretty good player for a pretty good period of time to get your number retired. You got to be a pretty good player for a number of years to get a statue. Statue would be fun. Number retiring would be fun. Going in the Hall of Fame would be fun. I hope it's fun for the fans that weekend. Because I know you're not coming to see San Diego play. Last time I checked, we aren't. But we want you to come. We want to fill it up that day. I'm used to sellouts, man. I'm used to records. Like I told the boss, that's what I call him. That looks beautiful out there, but it even looks more beautiful if there's an ass on every seat. Every game. And if St. Louis can do it, why can't we do it? Same kind of city, same size. Kansas City can do it, Why can't we do it? But you have to do something to get people to come back. And when they come back on Monday, you want them to come back on Tuesday. Got to give them a reason. And the biggest reason to give them is winning. No one likes to win more than this guy. Believe me. And leadership comes from the top. I would have loved to play for him. I had to play for Marge. And the dog. But Marge gave me everything I wanted. She gave me money for Buddy Bell. She gave me money for Dave Parker. She gave me money for Bill Gullickson. You know, she just wanted to sign autographs. She just wanted to come to the ballpark and sign autographs. He don't want to sign autographs. Don't get in his way when they lose a game. They blow a lead in the ninth inning. Get out of the way. Both going down the elevator and going out of the parking lot. Because he's driving. He don't have a driver. And he is pissed. I've been there. He didn't even tell me goodbye. I sit there for 3 hours. I don't even get a good night. See you tomorrow. That's the kind of owner you want. Marge didn't care. She didn't care. She's having fun. Next question.
Pete, you talked about wanting to be around the batting cage and things like that. Are they going to allow that? Or?
Well, I don't know. I doubt it. But I said that because, as you know, when I managed the Reds 84, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think I saw 32 players get their first hit. You know, I love young players. Young players give you enthusiasm. You need veteran players, too. You need a combination of both. But I'm a teacher. I'm a baseball teacher. You know, I was fortunate growing up because of my dad to learn the proper way to play the game. And there's too many guys today playing out. I'm not talking about the Reds now. I'm talking about baseball in general. There's too many guys playing the game of baseball today that don't know how in the hell to play the game. We don't deserve that as fans. You know, we deserve playing the right way. Marty knows. Marty sees it. He's been seeing it for 50 years. The old bastard. He's not as old as me. You're right, Arnie. So, you know, I love to teach. I love to make younger players better. Because, you know, when I tell a player something, and I've always believed in this, you know, everyone can tell someone how to do something. But if you tell them how to do it and you did it, they'll listen to you. You're talking from experience. You're not talking because of something you read in a book. What do you think I told Sabo, Larkin, O'Neill, Jones, Daniels, Oliver, McGriff, Stillwell, Treadway, Dibble, Charlton, Murphy? All those, that's all the guys I brought up. They all come through the Reds organization. And they played the game right. That's why they won the World Series in 1990. They played the game right. You got to teach them the right way to play. And people in this area understand the right way to play. And they also understand the wrong way to play. Just sitting in the stands. Knowledge, baseball knowledge. Cincinnati has baseball knowledge. Really does. Last question.
Pete, Mr. Castellini's confirmed that there is going to be a statue. What do you want that statue to reflect? Head first slide, base hit, Big Red Machine Pete Rose, 4192 Pete Rose. What do you want?
Well, I sure in the hell don't want me standing at Turfway in the $2 window. I can say that now. There's nobody looking over my shoulder. There's no way you can put on what my proudest statistic, okay? And it's really a reflection on all the great teammates I had and all the great teams I played on, okay? I played in 1,972 winning games. That don't include all-star games, playoff games, and World Series games. That's regular season games. Now, I don't know how you could do that on a statue. Probably a head-first statue would be more up my alley than, you know, down like this. But, because I was known for that. But any statue, as long as it got that C on it.